Welcome back to Called Glass. My name is Evan Hale, and we're going to be talking about the round one of the playoffs. But before we get into that, we're going to be rating the series first off. We're going to be rating the series. Um, not done yet, but we're going to talk about every series still because I think that we can still give a proper rating on where they rank among themselves. But yeah, before we get into any of that, though, I want to just talk about a couple news things right now. First things first, Damian Lillard. Obviously, we all know he tore his Achilles. Prayers for him, man. That's just heartbreaking. You hate to see it. One of the most fun people to watch in the history of basketball. I was watching that game live, and the way he went down, and he had just passed. Oh, he was going for the ball, so it wasn't focused on him. But when they showed the replay, and you saw him grab at his, the bottom of his calf, and the way that he didn't look like he was in a lot of pain, but he couldn't stand up and he couldn't walk off, and just the way that he was moving with extending forward with the toes kind of bent back, it was all signs of an Achilles injury. I was just praying that it was a strain, not a tear. You didn't see that muscle kind of. Usually, you see the calf muscle pop up when the Achilles loses tension when it tears, but there was a couple clips online where people said they saw it. I couldn't see it, but still heartbreaking, man. He's 34 years old. He turns 35 next season. He won't come back to basketball until he's almost 36. I hope that he comes back. He's made some comments, made some, social media posts and everything saying he's, going to work to come back, but it's just coming back from Achilles tear at 36. Kobe did it, but Kobe played like 33 games a season after that and just was never the same Kobe. So medicine's different now than it was, in 2000. I think it was 12 or 13. But man, it's just heartbreaking. And I hope he comes back. And I hope he comes back better than ever. But yeah, prayers for him. Also, recording this on Friday. I think it's gonna go up today. Greg Popovich announced his retirement from basketball today. No longer coaching. I mean, greatest coach ever to him, man. He had like a 24-year stretch of making the playoffs every year. 5 rings, most wins ever, just the greatest coach to ever do it. And he deserves to ride off in the sunset. The Popoviches were all loved by, all the NBA. Everybody loved him. Remember when his wife died, the whole league, they all kind of came together for Coach Pop. And, he's a likable guy. And it's a bummer to see him go. It looks like their interim head coach is taking over. I can't remember his name off the top of my head now that I'm thinking about it because they just announced it. They just announced him and also the interim head coach for the Grizzlies also just took over. So the Grizzlies head coach is Tuomas Lisasalo. Can't speak. Hard name to say, and I just started knowing who he was recently. So sorry about that. And it's Mitch Johnson. And Mitch Johnson also coached. He coached. My cat's decided to hop up on here. He coached Dejounte Murray in Seattle when he was like a kid. So saw a cool post about that, like him congratulating him and all that. So that's awesome. So shout out to him and yeah. What we doing, bud? What we doing? Shout out. Here's my cat. Sorry about that. I live in a camper. I'm just gonna not cut any of that because that's life and life happens sometimes and sometimes we don't know all the facts. So I had to look at my phone and sometimes your cat jumps on your desk. Living in a camper, that's a joy. This is my living room. My kitchen's right here. It's my fridge. So it's all open for me. So sometimes you get some cats in the videos. You gotta love the cats. So, but we're gonna get into the playoffs. But before I do that, there's one more thing I want to talk about. I saw this really cool. I saw it first talked about on Teed Up with Pierre Andreessen. Shout out Pierre, Pee Wee the Plug on all platforms. He's also part of the Numbers on the Board podcast, and Teed Up is his own personal podcast on the Enjoy Basketball Network. Shout out to him. But I saw him. It's not his stat, but I saw it from him. They're calling it the weakest link era in the NBA. So basically, what it means is it's not about having the best player in the series anymore. It's about having the strongest floor, so you don't have a weak link for your series. So there's a few examples of this. obviously Giannis and Dame. Dame went down. He also missed the first game of the series. But Giannis and Dame have the star power over the Pacers. But the Pacers are a much better team. And they looked, obviously with Dame went down, that hurts it. And still an argument there. But they didn't have as strong of a team. So they had more weak links. And, they said the saying is a chain is almost only as strong as its weakest link. And they got dominated because of that. I mean, it wasn't – we'll talk more about the series in a little bit. But you lost series 4-1, We'll go into more of that later. Another series. I think the biggest example of this is the Lakers and the Timberwolves series. LeBron and Luka, I mean, they didn't even play their best, but I mean, the rest of the team just didn't show up. Austin Reeves underperformed. I'm going to go into more of the details there, but that's another weakest link. They didn't have as good of a team. The Timberwolves, I mean, Anthony Edwards also just had the star power as well. Like I said, we're talking about it more. But you would assume LeBron and Luka are going to be the strongest players in that series. And, here we are now. And yeah, it's craziness. Like, it's not craziness, but, it's the league is changing. LeBron can't carry a team, anymore. He can't, or like you can't, if you don't have the best player, if you have the best player in a series, it doesn't matter now as much as if the other team is stronger. You could also have that with the Celtics and the Magic series and the Grizzlies and the Thunders. Because while the Celtics and Celtics and the Thunder are the stronger teams there, the Grizzlies and I have it written down and they're all next to each other. While the Grizzlies and the Magic do have star power, they do have, Paulo Banchero, Franz Wagner, you have John Morant, and you have Jaren Jackson Jr. Those are, star players, all-stars in their own right. The Thunder and the Celtics are just, dominant teams. So at the end of the day, that doesn't really matter, unfortunately. But it still plays into the weakest link. Magic's weakest link is more on offense, but most of the other examples for defensively, weakest links. Like Luka was such a weak link on defense. Oh my gosh, we'll talk about it more in a minute, but yeah, weakest link. So now we're going to get into rating every playoff series, like ranking them. So not like ratings like F through S tier, but like ranking them among each other. So I think the worst series, we're going to start from the bottom and work our way up, was the Heat versus the Cavs. The Cavs swept, was never really close. And, the Cavs just get it done. Darius Garland, he's an all-star, mind you, missed the last two games of the series, and they still won in Miami by 55. And not only did they win in Miami by 55 in a closeout game, Tyler Hero, after going down 3-0, said, we're going to get one. We're not going to go down 4-0. Which I had a tweet go viral that said, we're not going to go down 5-0, Tyler Hero. It was embarrassing. And I know that they traded Jimmy Butler away. There was a quote attributed to Tyler Hero, which he still shouldn't have said it, but he was talking before the Jimmy Butler trade about how he needed Jimmy to win. And that quote came back up. I still think Tyler Hero shouldn't be saying stuff like that. I think you have to have that unwavering confidence in yourself to be a pro athlete. But I think he was more trying to keep Jimmy on the team. But yeah, the Cavs, I mean, they look so dominant. Their bigs look dominant. Jared Allen's a great basketball player, but I didn't expect him to go as crazy as he did. He averaged 14.3 points, 10.3 rebounds, and 2.5 steals. He had averaged half a block as well. But I mean, he had some good, really, really good games. I would expect for, Evan Mobley to have those games, but he stepped up in a big way. I mean, both of them played really well. The Cavs had 7 players average double digits this playoff series. I think it's a record. And I mean, they just look dominant. Ty Jerome, he's ascending. There's not much more you can say. I mean, simple as that. They dominated. This series was, shut case. Not much to talk about it, unfortunately. Because I mean, I say unfortunately, just because I want. In a perfect world, if my Hornets are in the playoffs, I want every series to go 7. I want every game to end on a buzzer beater. I want everything to be close. So I will say, unfortunately for the sweeps, especially because there was blowouts in the series as well. The other sweep is going to be our 7. The Grizzlies losing to the Thunder. It was a sweep, but it did feel closer. They were up, I think, 23 or 29. It was a lot of points before John Morant got hurt. I think they win game 3 if John Morant doesn't get hurt. But also, John Morant, after that, had all these crazy quotes about, I had him figured out. We were going to win the series, but I got hurt. And Ja was also asked about, like, a reporter said, obviously the Thunder have taken another step. And John Morant said, no, they haven't. What are you talking about? The Thunder won 60 games this year. We're the 1 seed, are arguably title favorites. They're Western Conference title favorites, at least. Like, I don't know. It's just, if Ja was on, if the roles were reversed and Ja, like the Grizzlies, won 60-something games, and somebody said, oh, but they haven't taken the next step, Ja would look at them like they were stupid. So, yeah, I don't know. Shai didn't look, so talk about the Thunder, Shai didn't look like the best. He didn't play his best ball, but the Thunder were so dominant. J-Dub and Chet really stepped up. They had great series. Alex Caruso was one of the best defenders I've ever seen in my life this series. Just lockdown. It was incredible. I just, the Thunder looks so good. Even without Shai looking good, the Thunder looks so good. I think if they don't make the finals, it was a failed season or a very disappointing season for the Thunder. I don't think they lose more than 4 more games, or more than. I don't think they lose four games the rest of the Western Conference playoffs. I think they win the next series in 6, and the 1 in 5 and 1 in 6. Maybe 6 and 6. I don't really know. It just depends. But yeah, Thunder are so good at basketball, man. So good at basketball. The next series we're gonna go with is number 6, Celtics versus Magic. We talked about them a minute ago. The Magic got a game, but it never really felt close. Drew Holiday missed some time. So did Jason Tatum, and the Magic just lacked scoring, and especially against that dominant Boston defense. They were on full display. I mean. And then Boston's just so deep. They have such a good team. The Magic probably need to make a move this offseason. They could really benefit from like offensive-minded, facilitating, scoring guard. I mean, I would say like Trae Young or LaMelo Ball fit the facilitating and the scoring. Maybe you go out for like a John Morant too. I think the Grizzlies may look to change things up this offseason. Maybe John Morant becomes available, a score-first guard. He could also fit that kind of gritty kind of style for them. Not as much of a jump shooter, not as much of a passer, but I think he could fit what they need. I think he can change his game a little bit to what they need as well. And the Celtics, man, the Celtics are just the Celtics. They were so dominant last year. They're still dominant this year. Tatum only played had like one of the best playoff series I've seen him have in the last 2 playoffs. He had some good bright spots last year, but I think there's a reason that Brown won the Eastern Conference Finals MVP and the Finals MVP. But man, Tatum, he averaged 31.3, 11.3 boards, and 5.3 assists against like a stout Magic defense. Like the Magic, that's their thing, is a really good defense. So I mean, he just looked unstoppable, and it was just I always call Tatum corny and off the court, not my favorite guy in the league, but dude, he's just so good at basketball. He's so much fun to watch play basketball. He's so smooth, and I'm somebody, I've really tried to change how I feel about people in the league, and like I just want to appreciate everybody and everything for basketball. So like Tatum, some of the stuff he did I wasn't a huge fan of, and it made me not like him as much. But God, I'm glad that I've changed my mindset and just appreciate him as a basketball player, because he's just one of those ones, man. He's so good. He's a top 5 guy in the league. Gonna be a perennial MVP candidate. I don't know with how good the league is if he ever gets one, but I could see him getting 1 or 2. Just depends on how it all shakes out. The Celtics will always be good with him on the team and with their roster. I think they're gonna have to make some moves with the money, but still, I think they're whatever moves they have. I think all of their first round picks or most of their first round picks. They have like for how good they are, they have a lot of tradable assets, and that's kind of crazy that the two best teams in the league, the Celtics and the Thunder, have the Magic. The Magic. I keep saying the Magic because the blue for the Thunder and the Magic, they get mixed up in my brain. I'm a little, but the Thunder have a crazy amount of assets, and then the Celtics still have a lot of their own assets to use. So the rich get richer in that regard. They're so good. So you gotta like you said, they're just great. Shout out to the Celtics. I would argue that they're also a disappointment if they have their front office and their fan base will view this year as a disappointment if they don't make the finals again. We're gonna get into our next series. It's the Bucks versus the Pacers is number 5. Pacers win 4-1. The series dropped a few spots. Like would go up a few spots if Dame is healthy all the games. They blew a 7-point lead in the overtime with like a minute left. I think that the series might be still going on if Dame played all the games, but it's hard to know. I still think they fall under that weakest link category. The only games that they were in required Gary Trent to score over 30 points. And the second one, they didn't even win. They blew the lead in overtime. So, the Pacers are just a great team. They have great role players around, this rising star in Tyrese Haliburton. He already is a star, but it just feels like he just gets better and better every time he plays basketball. And then Siakam just is such a great compliment to him. He can bang inside, also stretch the floor. I feel like Siakam is underappreciated now in the NBA. You watch him, and he's just so good, man. I just feel like they have a perennial playoff team with their current construction and their coaching and everything. They feel like they're going to be around for a long time and be really good for a long time. Kind of like how the Pacers were with Reggie Miller. That was obviously before my time, but they were always really good. Even went to the finals once or twice. I think just the once. Pacers finals visits. In the finals. One appearance, yeah. They won the Eastern Conference Finals a bunch, though, like a bunch. So I just wanted to double check on that. They went with Reggie, Eastern Conference Finals. Wow. 94, 95, 98, 99, 2000, 2004 with Reggie, and then 13 and 14 with Paul George. I didn't realize they went that often. They just couldn't get over the hump. Well, I guess the Bulls don't help in. Well, I guess no, because no, it's not the Bulls. Or maybe 98. Yeah, 98 might have been the Bulls. But anyways, ignore me. I'm sorry. I got stats pulled up here. They looked great. The Pacers looked great, and the Bucks didn't. I think Giannis is gone. It was just crazy to say. From all the reports that I've seen, that Damian Lillard wasn't very happy in Milwaukee. He was going through the divorce. It was very public. Had some quotes like making it seem like he didn't enjoy Milwaukee. I think him and Giannis had a good connection, but I think that the team was going to shop him this offseason to switch up the team to better benefit Giannis. But now with him and his injury, you don't have any assets, man. You traded away Chris Middleton and a pick swap and a young piece for Kyle Kuzma, who put up a Tony Snell in a playoff game. They don't have anything. Like they don't have any young pieces. They don't have any draft capital. They just got Giannis, and I think it's time for them to, I think Giannis is going to request out. I think it's they have to. If I'm the Bucks, I'm acquiring a bunch of draft capital. A win now move, like people were saying, oh, they should trade for win now pieces for Giannis. I'm like, but the rest of the roster isn't in a win now position either. So if I'm them, I think Brook Lopez is a free agent this offseason, so you get off his money, you trade Giannis, maybe try to steal some young guys from that are free agents and get some draft capital and hit the reset. You're gonna have to overpay some young guys is what it's gonna be, but we'll see. I think it's just weird that Giannis might not be a Buck anymore, you know? Yeah, and like Dame, I mean, Dame is hurt, and there's a chance we never see him play basketball again. I mean, I hope he comes back, but I mean, he's going to be 36 years old just about when he comes back to play basketball. That's crazy. And, you know, it's just the Bucks are going to need to make moves. A couple teams we've talked about. I think the Bucks are going to need to make moves. The Magic are going to need to make a move or two. The Grizzlies need to change up their entire roster, it feels like. I don't know what the Heat are going to do. The Heat are, it's a lot. I think we're going to see some changing of the guard in the Eastern Conference, especially this year, like, you know, this offseason. I think your Celtics are going to stay up top. The Cavs are going to stay up top. I think the Pacers are going to ascend, and you're going to have some younger teams make a leap. I think, you know, the Magic could take a leap if they add a piece, and, you know, it's you're gonna, you know, the Pistons are great. I think the Knicks, we're gonna talk about them in a minute. They're gonna be great still. But yeah, we'll talk about those teams in a minute. But we're seeing some changing of the guard, and it's kind of crazy to see. The fourth series I'm gonna have on here is the Wolves beating the Lakers 4-1. I kind of was back and forth on the Wolves, Lakers, or Pacers, Bucks. I chose this series to be higher because there were more, like, I think there were closer games. I mean, and I'm also just a big LeBron and Luka guy, so, you know, I enjoyed the series a little more at the end of the day, watching some of my favorite players in the league hoop. So, but the Lakers, they were in 3 of these games late. They lost the last 2 by a combined 10 points. And yeah, the Lakers, they just weren't ready. The Luka trade, we knew they weren't going to compete this year, but they had the hot start after the Luka trade, where they looked really good, and everyone kind of overinflated their expectations. And in reality, we talked about the weakest link thing. I think the Lakers have like 10 weak links, and yeah, Luka, he wasn't in good shape. He showed poor effort. When LeBron's 40, also didn't show good effort. It's just like the Lakers always feel like they play so apathetically. And in a series that had some really close games, if they don't look as apathetic, or they have a real center, you know, sometimes they traded for one at the deadline and they decided they didn't want him anymore. I saw a report from the LA Times writer yesterday that said they regretted all the assets they gave it for Mark Williams, and that's why they rescinded the trade. They used the fact that they could with the physical to make the trade. So validating as a Hornets fan, you know, that, you know, it was the Lakers deciding that they actually didn't want to make that trade, and that they jumped the gun because Lucas said he liked Mark Williams, and they went like, oh, we'll just trade for him then real fast, and they didn't think about it. But I think the Lakers, if they had Mark Williams, you know, Rudy Gobert's not doing what he did in Game 5. We'll go over that in a minute, but this team needs to look like the Timberwolves in a way if they want to win. They need athletic, defensive-minded, 3-and-D wing type players like Jaden McDaniels, you know, like, you know, to a degree what we saw Julius Randle do. They're like a Nickeil Alexander-Walker, you know, these guys who can score the ball but also just are hustle guys on both sides of the ball, especially on the defensive side. JJ Redick, he's got to grow up a little bit and calm down. I mean, I get why he was upset. It's his first year as a head coach, and he gets, you know, he plays all the starters for the last half of the game, and then he gets torn apart by the media for 48 hours leading up to the last game. And then I think the question that was asked him when he stormed off was a little stupid, like asking about his assistant coaches, and if he asked them, talk to them. You see a lot of head coaches, especially first-year head coaches, regularly discuss with their assistants, like regularly. And just to ask that question just felt like, you know, the person was trying to poke the bear there a little bit. And he got what he wanted. He got the storm off, and JJ needs to be better to not do that. And flip the question back on the guy and make him feel dumb for asking the question if you're going to want to do something petty about it. But you know, the Lakers just don't have the depth. They didn't have the depth. They didn't have a center play. and I picked them to win in 6. And looking back, I feel like a dummy. But I'm everybody picked the Lakers to win. So I mean, like, I don't know. Ant is so good. We're gonna talk about the Lakers because I really want to give my flowers to the Timberwolves. They had the better team. They fought harder than the Lakers did. Their defense was incredible. I mean, Ant has ascended. He is top 5 guy in the league. You could argue. I would argue heavily if you have him top 5 in the league. He's a dog, and he's just so much fun to watch, man. He didn't even have all the best scoring games, but everything else he was doing. I mean, the thing that I was concerned about with Ant going into the series a little bit was he shows moments where he can lack maturity, especially like facilitating the ball and making the right pass and the right play. And I think the Lakers thought they could exploit that, and he had a lot of double teams, and he was poised. He made the right passes. He's a guy. He always uplifts his teammates. You hear him talking about Dante DiVincenzo needs to shoot the ball more. You know, Julius Randle needs to shoot the ball more. You know, last season they had Kevin Durant, but we got Jaden McDaniels. You know, and it's just he's really taken another step, and it's awesome to see. We knew he was a playoff riser, but just the way that he rose as a facilitator when he wasn't scoring like crazy has made all the difference for this series. And I think, you know, regardless of what happens, you know, for the next series we talk about, I think they're going to win and make it to the Western Conference Finals again. But I got to give him a couple more flowers. Julius Randle, I gave him a hard time before. He's, like I said, he had the worst efficiency for a player averaging 15 points per game or more in the playoffs since 2000, right? But he had such great growth this season. He changed the way he played, and like I said, I had a lot of concerns about him, but he proved me wrong, and I'm so happy that he did. I'm so happy that he seems happy in Minnesota. He seems to be like really involved with the guys. He's making the right plays. He's he's banging low on offense and on defense. He's grabbing offensive rebounds. He's making the hustle plays. There's this kind of mindset in Minnesota that feels infectious, and it feels like he caught it. And he looked like a different player out there, and that's awesome. Jaden McDaniels had some awesome scoring games. They put Luka on him, and he just went to town, you know, exploiting Luka. And then when he wasn't scoring, you know, they ran a screen and switched Luka onto somebody else. He definitely was a weak link on defense, especially. And then Rudy Gobert, exploiting the fact they didn't have a center. He had 27 points and 24 rebounds in a game 5. That's just insanity, man. That's not something he does. And he just went crazy. Ant didn't have a good game 5. And he stepped up. Julius Randle stepped up, and they looked great, and they won the series. And shout out Rudy Gobert. A lot of guys proved me wrong this series, and Julius Randle and Rudy Gobert, those are those guys, and you know, shout out to them. But I think, like I said, the Wolves are going to beat whoever comes out of the next series I'm going to talk about, which is the number 3 series ranked. It's the Rockets versus the Warriors. So this is still going on, and there's a chance this could move up to 2 if, you know, this goes 7 and both of those games are close. Game 6 and Game 7 are close. Then it could jump the next series. That's about the only way it will. I feel pretty confident this is going to end up as the 3 series. The Rockets are ahead of schedule. They got the 2 seed in the West. They have a really good young core. They have some veterans on the roster. But they're ahead of schedule. And, you know, but the Warriors are just proven to be too much, man. Amen Thompson is ascending. You know, he's not only been a great athlete and defender, but he's actually scored the ball very well this series, especially when it matters the most. And I'm just so happy to see him doing that as well. The Rockets also been looking very dominant with the double big lineup, like I thought they would. But the Warriors have decided to start fouling Steven Adams. They're, you know, calling it Hacking Adams, which is pretty funny. And he's only shooting about 50% from the line. this series. But I still think with the defense and the rebounding, it would be beneficial if they just kept him on the floor. But they sub him out when they start fouling him, and that's when the Warriors make their little runs back. So I think I will see how it goes tonight with if they keep him on the floor when they're fouling him. I doubt it from how they've been doing, but maybe they do. Maybe the analytics say they do it. But yeah, no, that double big's been great. Steven Adams has been great. Also, Fred VanVleet has gone crazy to end the series. Like the last 2 games, he's averaging 25.5 points per game, shooting 66% from 3, and just looking great. He's running that offense so well. The half-court offense was my concern for the Rockets, and they've lost the games. They haven't looked good, but he has helped their half-court offense go crazy because he's hitting everything. He couldn't miss. It looks like the ocean out there, you know. I talk about the Warriors. You know, Jimmy missed a game, which hurt them. Draymond Green seems more interested in fighting guys than about winning games, which hurts them. In my opinion, the series probably should be over already because of all those things. But those kind of mistakes by Draymond and missing the game for Jimmy has made this a series, and a good one. The games have been close. They've been exciting. Steph is averaging 23, 5, and 6. Jimmy's averaging like 16 points a game, which isn't a lot, but he had a stinker, but he's just been doing all the little things and scoring when it matters. Pods put up a Tony Snell in game 2, but then came back and had 26 in game 4. So, I hope the series goes 7 because I just know it'll be good games if it does. The Rockets looked dominant in the last game. They allowed a comeback by the Warriors, but it wasn't enough. I mean, they were up by like 30, and then the Warriors brought it within 9 with like a few minutes left, and it just wasn't enough. Like, they decided not to bring their starters back in, and that's the case. But I mean, it's just close series, couple games coming down like right to the wire, and it's been so much fun to watch. Like I said, it could jump to the next spot if it goes 7 and it's close, but the next series has had even closer games, and it's probably been my favorite series because of the people in it. It's the Knicks and the Pistons for our number 2 slot. The next one, 4-2. They finished the series up last night in a close game. Malik Beasley unfortunately fumbled that pass for an open 3 right after Jalen Brunson put Asar Thompson on skates, which I've never seen him slide like that before. I mean, it was a great move by Brunson. And this series has just been awesome. I mean, shout out to the Pistons. I mean, Cade took a huge leap this year, and he also proved to be a playoff riser, which is exciting. Because, I mean, I always assume the superstars are going to take another step in the playoffs, but sometimes they don't. I mean, you have your guys who underperform in the playoffs, but Cade is not one of those guys. He has looked amazing. I always have liked watching Cade play basketball, but I really had fun watching him play this series. And every game has felt close. The Pistons lost their last 3 games by a combined 6 points. It was a 1-point game, a 2-point game, and a 3-point game to close out the series. The largest margin of victory in the last 4 games of the series was 3 points. That's 4 one-possession games. Like I said, Malik Beasley is just a bummer that he couldn't get a shot up. You want to see a shot taken at the end of a series, especially, he was open. It's a bummer. I really like Malik Beasley. I told a story about him on the show before about talking to him at one of the games. I met his mom at one of the other games. I mentioned it to him when I met him at another game, and he laughed and was like a really cool guy about it. So I've been a fan of his since Florida State, and now he's, he actually didn't have a very good series, but he stepped up. He stepped up in game 6, just when it mattered the most. It wasn't the best pass, but he just slipped through his fingers. It's a bummer. The Pistons vets also really stepped up. I mean, Tim Hardaway Jr. didn't have the best game in game 6, but he had a great series. Tobias Harris had a great series. Those veterans are really leading that young core. Like, you miss Jalen Duren. He misses some games, so that hurts you a lot too, especially because you have guys like Cat and Brunson really eats on the inside. attacking, so you would like to have more bigs. Paul Reed did step up, so shout out Paul Reed. But they have a good young core with some good veteran leaders who are going to be there for at least a little bit longer, and they're going to help foster and deliver this young core to wherever they end up. And I think they're going to be very good for years to come, which is very exciting. Because you got to remember, they're missing Jaden Ivey too. Jaden Ivey's a dog. Him coming back next year, this Pistons team's going to be scary. Going to be real scary. But now I got to give my flowers to the team who won the series. Man, Brunson, he averaged 31, 8, and 4. And he looks so dominant while he's doing it. He had 40 points the last game. Cat, mentioned Cat a second ago. He didn't look dominant the whole series. He felt very hesitant at times. But he did have some games where he did play well. He averaged 20 and 10 in the series. He wanted to average a little bit more, but for the couple of games he didn't play very well, he still came out to a decent average. OG and Mikal Bridges both had a great game 6. Both scored 20 plus. Really helped them close out the series. And it's hard to close out a series, especially on the road. So shout out to them. The Knicks, I feel like no matter what happened in this series, they're gonna get dogged by the Celtics next series. I think we'll go, I'm gonna go into more about the Knicks' future. We're gonna do one of these videos every round. So depending on how that series goes, we'll talk about the Knicks in their future more there. But I think they're gonna have to make more moves around the edges if they're gonna want to be a team who can compete for a championship. So there's only one series left. It's not over yet. It's the only series that went to 7 so far, at least. We got the Clippers and the Nuggets, and they're going to Game 7, heading back to Denver. Everybody said it. We all knew it. The series was going to be good, and it has not disappointed. I've been so happy about it. You got 3 games that end within a possession. Another game that was a 5-point game. I mean, you have Aaron Gordon with a putback buzzer beater on a dunk that was so close. I've never seen it so close. I could argue it's the second craziest game winner in playoff history. You got you have the is this a dagger shot by Kawhi that bounced like 8 times? You have, I would say, maybe better game winners, but like craziest like circumstances, the way it happened, how close it was. It's one of the craziest ever in playoff history. And everybody's playing great. Jokic is averaging 25, 12, and 10.5. Jamal Murray, 24, 6.5, 5.5. Kawhi, 25, 8, and 5. Harden, 21, 8.5, 5.5. The stars are starring, man. That's all you can say. Like, it's been awesome. It's been great. Intuit Dome has been rocking. I put out a tweet last night. I said, I think I would average shooting 45% from 3 if I was playing for the Clippers in Intuit Dome, just by how awesome the crowd, like how I'm getting hyped sitting on my couch watching the game. I couldn't imagine if they were cheering for me. Like, I wouldn't miss. I'm not even a hooper. Like, I just know that I wouldn't miss because that's just the energy that they have. It's awesome, man. It's awesome. And like, it's just been so cool, like, to watch, the Clippers look well and the Nuggets look good. I mean, Jokic, he said he's averaged 25, 12, and 10.5. His averages are technically down, at least to a degree, on the points. Tyronn Lue, I don't swear a lot in here, but Tyronn Lue has been coaching his ass off, running the schemes to slow the Nuggets down. He has been looking amazing. The way they're playing defense, the way he's running his schemes to limit Jokic's like ability to move the ball, and then also having a guy like Ivica Zubac, who is the closest thing to a Jokic stopper we've ever seen. He's big and strong enough to hold his own against Jokic as the guy like backing him down, but he's also long enough and athletic enough that he can influence his shots. He's got more blocks on Jokic than I've seen ever. It feels like. He also has great defensive IQ, so he's got the build, he's got the athleticism, and he's got the IQ to actually slow Jokic down, which isn't a combo you really see. MPJ's shoulder is hurt so bad, he says he can't feel it anymore. He feels like he can't lift his arm up above his head, but he's still shooting jump shots, and he's still, having his moments. Aaron Gordon has a leg injury. Said he didn't think he could jump, and then he gets the putback game winner. Russell Westbrook has hit some of the most clutch shots and missed some of the most clutch shots this series. I just joke like Russell Westbrook giveth and he taketh away. So I mean he's had some good games this series. He has some bad games this series too. He missed a fast break layup last night that could have closed out the series for the Nuggets, like helped them close out the series, but that miss led to a Clipper score right after and kind of sealed the game for the Clippers. I mean, this series has been a work of art. Both teams are fighting for their lives, and it's kind of a bummer that whoever wins the series has to play the Thunder next series. I don't think the game whoever wins this takes the Thunder past Game 6. I do have the Clippers closing it out. I think that they're going to fall under the weakest link thing we talked about before. I think they just have a deeper team, especially with MPJ and Aaron Gordon not being 100%. They're, it's going to cause this series to end with the Clippers winning. But I could see, you go to Denver. It's hard to win Denver too. So you got to see. We'll see. I just hope it's a good game. I'm excited. We got the Warriors Rockets tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern, and we got the Clippers and Nuggets tomorrow. I don't know what time tomorrow, but I'm just excited, man. I'm freaking love basketball. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about what I had to say. Leave you in the comments who you have each of the next series. I'm gonna make a video once the series are set, breaking down the matchups and picking my picks like I did with Nick the Bulls fan for the first round. Might have a special guest for that one. Not anybody you guys would know, but a very special guest to me. So we will talk about that when we get there. Gonna end the show like I always do. You guys just enjoy basketball. Talked about the brand today. Just, watch the games. Let's be positive. One more thing I want to shout out. My Twitter's been going crazy, and some of you guys, a lot of the people who watch these videos come from my Twitter, so I really appreciate you guys. I'm at 2.5 million views the last 2 weeks and like 55,000 likes, so that's cool. I'm hoping some of that audience floods over here. We're not nearly there. I think we're at like 56 subscribers on YouTube. But yeah, I just really appreciate you guys, and I just enjoy basketball. I hope if your team's still in it, they're in it and they're fighting for it. And you guys have a great rest of your day.